السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب زدني علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم في محاضرات دروس اللغة العربية لغير ناطقين بها. I welcome you all to the class of Surah Al-Arabiya. And inshallah, today we'll start with lesson 10. This will be the last lesson of the first part of the book, inshallah ta'ala, because this book has 3 parts. And the first part includes 10 lessons. The second also includes 10 lessons. And the third has 13 lessons. So inshallah, this book, instead of 23 lessons, I think it has 33 lessons, right? 33 or 34. Inshallah. So this is the last part, lesson number 10, where we start with fi'l mudari, present tense verb. So we've talked about present tense verb earlier itself a little bit. Inshallah, this is where we begin reading and studying it. So present tense verbs are used to state present tense as well as future also, because in Arabic, although there are 3 tenses, the verbs are only 2, right? The verbs are only 2. Okay, there are only 2 types of verbs: present tense and future tense. I mean, there's command verb, of course, but talking in terms of tenses, there are only 2 types of tenses. One is the future tense and the past tense, and the other is future tense, or you can call it perfect tense because it's already done, that is the past, and imperfect tense. Imperfect, that is the present continuous or present tense, simple present or continuous or present perfect, and so on. So it's called al-fi'l al-mudari', right? Present tense and future tense verb, of course. So anytime we have a fi'l mudari', we need to have a harful mudari'. Harful mudari', particle of mudari', right? And there are 4 which we learned before: ya, ta, hamza, and noon, right? Anaytu or yatani, whatever, right? And these will always come in the beginning of a present tense verb, always, right? They'll always come. So how do you make a present tense verb? We make by taking the past tense verb and adding one of these 4 letters, and for the third person it'll be ya itself. So it'll be ya, and we'll give the first letter sukun and the last letter dhamma. Yak, tubu, and this middle letter, we have 6 cases for that. 6 cases. The first case is called bab nasara, where we have a fatha, it gets a dhamma. Bab nasara yansu. Then we have bab fataha yaftahu, right? We have both fatha. So anytime a fi'l mudari comes, we have to look for these 6 babs, the 6 conjugations, right? And then we can have daraba yadribu, kasra, right? And then we can have sami'a yasma'u, kasra to a fatha, right? These are the 4 most important, right? Nasara yansuru, fatha yaftahu, daraba yadribu, sami'a yasma'u, and the last 2 are very rare, so we did not even study about them, but still we have these 2. So actually there are only 4, these 4, right? These 4. This is very rare. Hasiba yahsibu is very rare, and karuma yakrumu is also rare. Both dhammas, right? Both dhammas. So 90% of the time, if it is kasra in the madi, it will be a fatha, right? And fatha yaftahu, the issue is the ain kalima or the lam kalima will be huruf halqi, the throat letters, right? So this is also we can find out. I mean, we can just guess. These 2 we can guess. The problem will be only in nasara as well as daraba, right? Daraba and nasara, these are like question mark. We have to look at the dictionary. We cannot guess, right? We cannot guess. We can actually, if you we cannot. I mean, I tried. Some people say we can, and they try to guess, but it's so bizarre. There's so many things you have to look into, right? So we cannot. I mean, we cannot guess, right? We cannot guess as so much. Nasara or daraba, we have to look. Fataha we can, Samia we can, right? And hasiba, it'll be there. It's very rare. Kaduma is anyways, if it has dhamma madi, this is what the four cases actually, but we are learning the 6 cases, right? So anytime a verb asks, we should ask one question. One first question, which bab is it, right? Second question, uh, which we'll learn later, is it a weak verb or not, right? Is it sahih or not, or does it have a hamza or not, right? Right? And is it double verb or not? And the third question, which we'll learn in book 3, is it mujarrad or mazid fihi, right? Is it 3-letter verb or 4-letter or 5-letter mazid fihi, extra letters, right? These 3 questions form the basic. And the other fourth question also book 3 will learn, is it active or passive, right? There's active voice, there's passive voice, right? He killed, qatala, and qutila means he was killed, right? Passive voice. So that yeah, this is what we'll look into. So fel mudarek conveys an incomplete action. The action can be ongoing in the present, or it can be a future also. Future also. For future, sometimes they'll add a scene or sofa, but most of the time it's not added. So it's just understood by looking at the sentence that it's future, right? So it could be translated in both ways. And fail madi is, this is how it is. We have like examples here. Qatala yaqtulu. See, bab nasara with a fatha. Middle letter we have to see. Which is the middle letter here? This ta. Qatala yaqtulu. Bab nasara. Jalasa yajlisu. Right? It has so many meanings. He is sitting, he sits, he will sit. Bab daraba. This is daraba yadribu. Jalasa yajlisu. Zahaba yazhabu. This is fatha, of course, because it has ha, hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain, kha, right? It should come. So that's why it's fatha. Shariba, this is bab samia. Samia yasma'u, shariba yashrabu. Right? Kasura, this is very rare. Kasura yaksuru. Bab karuma, this is, right? It increased. It is increasing. Yaksuru, very rare. It doesn't come. Dhamma, dhamma. Right? Dhamma, dhamma. So these are the cases, right? So what we are doing here, the first letter gets a sukoon, the last letter gets a dhamma, but what happens is the middle letter depends, right? So the first fatha to sukoon, fatha to dhamma, but the second letter, the change in vowel sign for the second radical, that is the ain kalima, the middle letter is different in different verbs. According to this, verbs are classified into 6 groups. There are 6 groups, right? Because notice all the verbs here, like mudare, yak, yak. The first letter has a sukun, yaj, yad, always, yash. And the last letter has a dhamma because it's marfu. The fi'l mudare is marfu also, right? It has moods. Yaktubu, yaktulu. But the middle letter, it could change. Yaktubu, yaktulu. Yajlisu, yadhabu. Right? It could change. Yashrabu, yaksuru. 6 groups are there. 6 groups are there. The 6 groups are called Nasara Yansuru. Fathu Dammin. Nasara Yansuru. Right? Bab Nasara. From a dam, Fatha it will become Dhamma. Daraba Yadribu. Fathu Kasrin. From a Fatha it will become Kasra. Then Fathatani. Fataha Yaftahu. 2 Fathas will come. Fatha. See, red color. Right? Red color. The Ta. It has a Fatha here and the Fatha here. Karuma Yakrumu. Dhammo Dhammin. That is Dhamma. And kasra fathin, that is kasra, will become a fatha. Samia yasma'u. Hasiba yahsabu is kasra tani. It's very rare. Actually, this should have become 3. These are 9 cases, right? 9 cases, but because we don't have dhamma, it will always be dhamma, right? Like kaduma, yakudumu, always dhamma, dhamma. Kasra is 99% will be fatha, right? There's no kasra and dhamma, right? It will never become fa'ila, yaf'ulu, never. Because kasras and dhammas are then we have kaduma yakrumu. right? Now we have fataha yaftahu, which is having fatha. Daraba yadribu, which is having kasra, right? And nasara yansu. So these are all the groups here. All the groups, nasara yansu, daraba yadribu, fataha yaftahu, kalama yaklumu, sami'a asma'u, hasiba yahsibu. Only four are important. That is what you're learning, inshallah, in this lesson. So let's begin the lesson, inshallah. We've already done this a lot of times, so I'm not going so much detail, right, inshallah. Because once we start doing it, inshallah, we'll try to understand which bab it is and so on. Let's read lesson number 10. Right? ذهب زكريا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ذهب Zakaria left. Zakaria went. Zakaria doesn't take tanween, right? Because لزيارة حامد. Zakaria went to visit Hamid بعد صلاة الفجر, after the Fajr Salah. ولكنه, but he, ما وجده, but he did not find him, right? ما وجده. Wajada is to find, right? Wajada yajidu. This is misal, right? Misal assimilated. Misal. Okay. And I thought, we could talk a little about misal here, right? Misal. It's very simple, misal. Yeah. So weak letters is very simple. And there are three types of weaknesses. Weaknesses can be in between. Weaknesses can be in starting, in between, and in the last. And it's called misal, and this is called ajwaf, and this is called naqis. Right? Misal is what? And it could be of two types. It could be misal wawi or misal yai. I mean, the weakness means it will have a waw or a ya. So wawi means it has a waw. Wajada, waqafa, wahaba, starting with a waw, waw, waw. Right? These are very rare. Ya isa, yabisa, yatama, very rare. Right? They have no change at all. Right? So we need not study them separately. What changes here is these five change. Right? And ajwaf is what? It has a alif in between. Right? Qala, nama, kana. And it depends. It's wawi, right? So it will have a waw. Qavala, navima, kavana. And this is yai also. Sara, ba'a, kala. Sara is actually sayara, baya'a, kayala. Right? So this is all alif, alif, alif in between, but those are not alifs. It could either be a waw or it could be a ya. Then we have naqis. Naqis, it could either be a waw or a ya. If you have a waw at the ending, we'll not write this waw, we'll write it as alif again. Right? Change da'a, afa, tala. But actually da'a is da'aba. Then you have ya'i also, baka, hada, and nasiya. Right? And so on. Right? Baka is actually bakaya. Hada is actually hadaya. Nasiya is nasiya anyways. So these will change. And right? So the most difficult, the most easiest is this. Then this is more difficult. This is more difficult, right? This is how it is, right? Misal. So misal, what will happen is changes in misal wawi. So the madi is the same. Waqafa, waqafa, waqafu, waqafat, waqafata, waqafna, waqafta, waqaftuma, waqaftum, waqafti, waqaftuma, waqaftunna, waqaftu, waqafna. So what does this blue mean? Blue means I don't know what that means. Okay, the madi is blue. Here it is mutahadik. Maybe that's why they did mutahadik pronouns, right? The pronouns are na, ta, tuma, tumti, tuma, tunna. It's having haraka. Right? Here it has sukun, waqafa, waqafu. Nothing changes here. But for when we come to mudare, this is what changes. Yaqifu. How did it become yaqifu? Where did the waw go away? When ya comes, waw disappears. So number one, it became here like this. It was actually yawqifu. Right? Bab daraba. Waqafa yawqifu. Daraba yadribu. Right? Same thing, right? Yawqifu. But what happened was we'll drop the waw. Because yaw is like so difficult to pronounce, become yaqifu. Yaqifu. Right? Yaqifu. Yaqifu. Yaqifani. Right? Yaqifu, yaqifani, yaqifuna. Same thing. taqifu taqifani yaqifna. Taqifu taqifani taqifuna taqifina taqifani taqifna. Aqifu naqifu. And this is how, this is the only change in misal. And maybe another change here, qif. Inshallah. Because we didn't do mudare at all, right? This might look difficult, mudare, because we are not so used to for the mudare conjugation, right? So that is misal, right? Inshallah, it'll come in the book, I mean, end of the book. So we'll not worry so much about now. But I thought maybe I'll just, talk about it in briefly, because he's using a lot. Walakinnahu, but he did not. Even if you did not understand, don't worry, because we are just starting mudare now, right? We are not expected to learn mudare now. I mean, before this. But he did not find him in the house. Faqala. So he says, see, qala is ajwaf, right? Inshallah, by the time the lesson comes, we'll try to repeat the names. Faqala libnihi. Then he said to his son, libnihi, Musa. He said to his son Musa, Aina abuka, where's your father? So Musa said, so he went after Fajr. He said, Dhahaba ila suqi. He went to the market. Where is your father? Dhahaba ila suqi. He went to the market. Right? Where did he go? He went to the market. Dhahaba ila suqi. This is past tense anyway. So he went. Where's the file? Mustatil, hidden. Zakaria. Ayadhabu ila suqi kulla yawmin. See? Yazhabu. The first mudare has come. Not first. In book 1, he used uhibbu. But this is like the second. I mean, the first official introduction of mudare. So what happened with zahaba? How did we make it mudare? Very simple. And zahaba was there. Zahaba. Right? We brought a ya. And the first letter we have to give a sukun. Yad. Yad. And this will obviously get a fatha because it has a ha, right? The ha, hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain, ha. All these 6 letters will always get a fatha, and this will get a yazhabu. The meaning will be, does he go? Yazhabu, or he goes, or he is going, right? So he want to ask, ayazhabu ila suqi kulla yawmin. Does he go to the market every day? Right? I mean, does he do it every day? Musa said, Naam, yadhabu. And again, in what that Madi, we learned that it'll be we learned the file is hidden in 2 verbs, right? Fa'ala and fa'alat. But here the file is hidden in 5 verbs. 5. Yaf'alu, if it does not come in the sentence, that is. Yaf'alu, taf'alu, she does. Taf'alu, af'alu, naf'alu. And these are all called 5 in your pocket, by the way. 5 in your, easy to remember, just for the sake of remembering. These are all called yaf'alu, taf'alu, yaftaf, yaftaftaf, afnaf. Right? Yaf'alu, taf'alu, taf'alu, af'alu, naf'alu. All these files are hidden if it doesn't come, because yaf'alu means he does, right? He does, or he's doing whatever. Taf'alu means she does. Taf'alu again, you do. Af'alu, I do. Where are you getting the I from? We're getting from the fail mudare. I mean the harf here, af'alu. So that's why the file is hidden here. If it doesn't come in the sentence, right? Naf'alu, we. So here 5 verbs. I mean the 5 conjugations, not verbs. I mean 5 types of the conjugations we have. What happens? It will be, the file can be hidden, and we should understand that yafalu means he does, right? He will be hidden. Tafalu, she, and tafalu again is same, right? She does and you do is same. You do, and afalu, I do, nafalu, we do. In this 5, and any verb apart from these 5 in your pocket will have a noon. Will have a noon at the ending. Okay, inshallah. Okay, so here also, Naam yadhabu da'iman. Yes, he goes every day. Da'iman is always. Da'iman, he goes always. Daiman is mansub because it's telling the time always. Ila suhi, to the market, ba'da salatil fajri, after the fajr prayer. Right? After the fajr prayer, he goes to the market. He goes to the market after fajr prayer. Why does he go? He goes to the market after fajr prayer. Mata yarji'u min as-suqi. When does he return from the market? Right? When does he return from the market? Yarji'u. So which verb is this? Raja'a. Bab daraba. Raja'a. Right? Raja'a. Yarji. Yarji'u. Raja'a. Yarji'u. Bab daraba. It's not yarji'u or yarja'u. It is yarji'u. Mata yarji'u min as-suqi. When does he return from the market? Return, right? Return. Like inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Indeed, we belong to Allah and we are to return to Him. When does he return from the market? Yarji'u, he returns. So all present, present, present tense now. He'll bombard us with present tense verbs. Right? Yarji'u fi sa'ati sabi'ati. He will return or he returns. We could translate it future also. It doesn't matter. He returns at 7 o'clock. Wa ahyanan, and sometimes. Ahyanan means sometimes. Daiman is always. Ahyanan, sometimes. Ahyanan, ahyanan. Sometimes, sometimes. And sometimes at 8 o'clock. So sometimes he comes back at 7 and sometimes at 8 o'clock. Zakaria says, Mada yaf'alu fil bayti. So which verb is this again? Fa'ala yaf'alu. I mean, our basic scale is this verb, right? To do. This is what Bab Zahaba, because it has Bab Fataha, because it has Ain, right? Hamzaha, Ainha, Ghain, Kha. Mada yaf'alu fil bayt. What does he do in the house? Right? So what does he do in the house? Yaqra'u. See, so many verbs is bringing up. Qara'a, yaqra'u. He reads. Right? Bab Fataha, because it has Hamza. Hamza ha, Ain ha, Ghain kha. Always Bab Fataha. Right? Either the middle letter or the last letter. Yaqra'u suhufa. What does he do after coming back from home? He reads the newspaper. Suhuf, sahifa, plural is suhuf. Wa yasma'u. And he listens. Sami'a yasma'u. Right? Sami'a yasma'u. Right? Sami'a yasma'u. This is again Bab Sami'a itself. وَيَسْمَعُ الْأَخْبَارَ, and he listens to the news. مِنَ الْإِذَاعَةِ, from the radio station. Right? Izaa is radio station. مَتَى يَذْهَبُ إِلَى الْمَصْنَعِ, when does he go to the factory? يَذْهَبُ, he goes. ذَهَبَ يَذْهَبُ, right? To go. باب فتح. يَذْهَبُ فِي السَّاعَةِ التَّاسِعَةِ, he goes at 9 o'clock. One nisfi, and half an hour. So 9:30. He goes at 9:30. When does he go? He goes at 9:30. Okay. Next. Wamata yarji'u. So he goes to the office at 9:30. Right? He comes back at 7 or 6, 7 or 8 from the market. Then he goes to the factory at 9:30. Wamata yarji'u min hunaka. And when does he return from there? Yarji'u fi sa'atil wahidati. He returns at 1 o'clock. Wahida. So he works at the factory till 1 o'clock. 1 nisfi. 1:30. Or thaniyati. Or sometimes 2 o'clock. And 2 o'clock. Aw means or. So yarji'u, he returns. Right? He returns. He returns at 1 or 1:30 or 2 o'clock. Zakaria. يذهب إلى المصنع مرة أخرى بعد الظهر. Does he go to the factory? Right? يذهب إلى المصنع. مصنع is factory, right? يذهب إلى المصنع. Does he go to the factory? مرة أخرى means مرة means once, and أخرى means again, once again. Right? آخر أخرى, once again. Does he go to the factory once again? بعد الظهر, after the Zuhr prayer? لا, no. لا يذهب بعد الظهر. So let's continue from here. لا يذهب بعد الظهر. Right? No, he does not go after Zuhr. يجلس هنا في مكتبه بعد صلاة العصر. جلس يجلس, he sat. He sits in here in his office after Asr prayer. After Asr prayer. يجلس في هنا في مكتب. In his office. مكتب is office. كم عاملا يعمل في مصنعكم? How many workers work in your factory? Your, right? مصنعنا ليس بكبير. Our factory is not big. يعمل فيه 125. Right? How many? 125. 5 is 5, 20 is 20. 125 workers work. عاملا ومهندسان, and 2 engineers, right? 125 workers. زكريا الساعة الآن التاسعة إلا ربعا. The time now is 9 except 8:45. So ربع means 1/4. 1/4. So 1/4 is 8:45. So the time now is 8:45. وما رجع أبوك, and your father did not return yet. So رجع is فعل ماضي. That's why you use ما, right? Because فعل مضارع 90% of, or not maybe 90, 60-70% we use لا, and فعل ماضي we use ما. موسى لعله يرجع اليوم متأخرا. Perhaps he is returning late today, right? Returning late today. So we have some questions. Let's do these questions inshallah. لزيارة من ذهب زكريا? ذهب زكريا لزيارة حامد, right? He went to visit Hamid. متى ذهب؟ بعد صلاة الفجر, after صلاة الفجر. أين يذهب حامد بعد صلاة الفجر? Where does Hamid go after صلاة الفجر? Where does, right? يذهب فعل مضارع. He goes to إلى السوق, to the market. متى يرجع من السوق? At 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, right? الساعة 8 أو التاسعة. 8 أو التاسعة. ماذا يفعل في البيت? What does he do in the house? He reads the newspapers and stuff. يقرأ الصحف ويسمع الآذان. Not أذان. ويسمع الأخبار. متى يذهب إلى المصنع? When does he go to the factory? يذهب at 9:30. في الساعة 9:30. كم عاملا يعمل في مصنعه؟ 125. 120 هو 5 or 25. Okay. وكم مهندس يعمل في مصنعه? How many engineers work in his factory? مهندسان. 2 work. So inshallah we'll continue the remaining in next week inshallah. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum.
كانوا قليلا